Hey, hi there, everybody. This is Megan, and this is your recording. As I told you that I will be busy tomorrow, or at least today when you're watching the recording, for our session on a Wednesday. So I said I would do a pre-recording for you, for this week's presentation, which was media. And I said we're going to look at how to set up an ad. So hopefully I'm going to do it as simple as possible, obviously because there's no questions, so nobody can stop me. So I just thought I'll go through the basic outline for you, just supported by a presentation to start. So let me just quickly share my presentation just to get us ready and yourself ready for setting up a Facebook campaign, because it's possible that some of you have not yet done this. So yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, so as my usual goes, let's skip by this part. I definitely won't be sending this to any visitors, or perhaps I might just somehow think this might be one that I can leave for open eyes on YouTube. So these are some of the awesome programs that I run. The no-brainer is an online marketing plan video that I teach you how to put together your own marketing plan. That's a once-off fee. Do it in your own time. If you need me and my support, my recommendation is obviously the Content Authority, where you can then go ahead and become the authority in your mastery through an 8-week program with myself, where I'll take you through the entire process to build a marketing strategy and marketing plan with awesome content. And then the boot camp is just a quick learning 2-week program for those that want to just wrap their head around marketing, just build a little confidence, understanding around it and what you need to know. And then, of course, where I'm sharing this content with you today is the My Lifeline Learning Program, which is our weekly marketing program for beginners, just to teach you more and more about marketing and the real meaning behind marketing and what it is and how it can help you. So the key benefits of this specific program: continuous learning, improved actions, and of course, better results, and overall confidence, knowing what we need to know. So as I mentioned, we obviously have different themes for every week. And this week we are on media. So specifically following on from last week, we spoke about Facebook, messaging and how to prepare your messaging for Facebook. Today, I want to specifically look at Facebook ads. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible, because I do understand a few of you may have not done one before, and because there's no questions. Right, so did you know? People spend 33 minutes a day on Facebook. Probably doesn't seem quite a lot considering, but if you think about it, it's a captured audience for 33 minutes. And I think that's why there's such a big trend to using Facebook advertising. And it also doesn't have to cost a lot of money if you have your targeting and messaging right. Okay, so let's get ready to create your Facebook ad. Just some key things you need to have done, possibly before going into today's session. So you obviously need to have your Facebook business page. Okay, so if you don't have a business page, you need to go and set up your Facebook business page. Okay, we're not going to cover that today. In the event, Google how to set up a Facebook business page, but you'll just set it off of your profile. Okay, then you're going to create an ads manager account. I already decided I'll just pop an email in our email where I'm going to share this video with you. I'm going to just quickly include how to create an ads manager account. It's basically using Meta, which is obviously now the new Facebook, and you're going to create an ads manager account because you're not going to create your ad in Facebook per se. So we're not boosting ads today, but posts, but today we're actually going to create an ad to run campaigns. Okay, so that you will need to have an ads manager account set up. You will also need some type of artwork. So if you are going to be creating an ad, We do need some supporting graphics or videos to use. As we spoke about last week, we want our graphics to depict the content that we're going to use. You will also see as we go into the creative step, setting up a campaign, you may need some different sizes of artwork to use. So you've just got a bit of variety. If you don't, you could always just set up the one specific type of ad. But otherwise, if you want to, you can create different shapes and sizes. Okay, so definitely artwork. Okay, and it always kind of goes back to that 30-70 rule, is you definitely don't want to have 70% text on your graphics. The less, the better, because Facebook might even sometimes reject your artwork if it's too text heavy. So rather keep your text for the text sections on your ad, and rather keep your graphics nice and clean, possibly with some keywords on it if need be. Then you obviously need to go into your Facebook Manager or Ads Manager and create an ad. And then I'll show you, then you need to, once you've selected an objective, it basically will give you all the different steps. Then you need to complete those 3 key steps or sections, and then click review just to review your ad. And then you publish it. Okay. So once it's published, obviously it will be under review for a while, but you'll get notification once it's gone through the review, and you'll publish your ad, and then you wait and spend some money. Okay, so those are the key things to get ready. So before you even start, get that page set up, get your ads account set up, get your artwork ready, knowing what the intention is for your campaign, of course, call to actions, and then select your objective and build your campaign, which we're going to do now. So this is just step 1, which they call the new awareness campaign. Okay, so this is really where you're going to select your objective of your campaign, and you're going to input your budgets. Okay, and please, we've got to pay attention to budget, because I have heard of people spend thousands and thousands of brands. Okay, so that's our key step 1, which I'm going to show you now. We're going to start in the new awareness campaign. We're going to name our campaign, and we're going to set up a few things, but most importantly, we are going to select our budget. So a question being asked, or often asked, is, but how much money should I spend? If you want to spend as little as possible, then you can even choose to spend 20 Rand a day. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to spend hundreds. If you want to just start and test the waters, spend 20 Rand a day. Review rather and remove underperforming ads and test new creative. So you can see, you will see the option is there to set up an A/B test, where you can obviously then go and try maybe 2 creatives, two same creatives, 2 different headings, and you can actually see which one's getting better performance, and then you can delete or remove the other one and continue with the performing one. And also you can pause an ad at any time. So if you just feel uneasy, or maybe you spend too much money, or you're just not seeing the results, you can pause it at any time. Okay, so how much money should you be spending? I remember, I think when I did my first ad, I think I only also spent 150 over a 2-week period. So, okay, that was not quite a while ago, but I would say look at about 20 Rand a day. Okay, because we're going to do a bit of a calculation in a bit. But my point being is, you don't have to spend a lot of money just to start out. Obviously, if you start getting specific leads through it and you think, geez, these are good leads, then that means your targeting is quite good. Then you can definitely start putting in more budget. So I think the big thing here is to just know the budget and the target go hand in hand, okay, which we're going to talk about in a bit. So if you get your targeting right, because you're getting the right leads, then you can definitely put more money behind it. But you don't want to do that just yet, okay, if it's your first time running a campaign. Okay, then step 2 is really your new awareness ad set. Okay, so it's your ad set. So it's first your campaign objective, then it's your ad sets. What most important thing in your ad set is selecting your audience. Okay, so that's probably one of the hardest parts. But again, with a very few key steps we can take, we can just try and define the audience as much as possible. Okay, so this is where we focus a lot on the audience. And a quick question here is, what is an ideal audience size? Because often when you set up your audience, it's like, say, over 1 million, and then Facebook will tell you it's too broad. Okay, so that's why I just want to take you to the think about it at the bottom. So let's just remove that. Think about it. Let's say if it costs you 200 Rand to show your message to 1,000 people on Facebook, and since they say you should show your message at least 7 times, the rule of 7, the cost would be 1,400. Okay, so just put that sum together. So if you times that by 10, and you've got 10,000 people that you want to get to seven times, then you're going to be spending 14,000 Rand, right? So the reality is, the smaller your audience size, the more realistic. But that's why it is also important for you to choose the right audience. Okay, so that's what they're saying. Remember, we need to position that ad in front of your core audience at least 7 times for them to get a reaction or possibly respond. And if you've got a bigger audience, it's going to cost you a lot more money. Okay, so Facebook typically recommends a source audience of between 1 and 50,000 people, right? I really struggle to get to 50,000 quite often. You really, really have to bet it down. And I know it's like a bit of FOMO going on, but specifically if it's your first time running a campaign, just define it as much as possible. Just define it as much as possible to get that audience down. Okay. Then the last step is obviously the creative and the content. So this part, again, you should be prepped and knowing what it is, what do you want to say, what is your objective of the campaign, what is your intention in terms of what do you want them to do, and of course, where do you want to lead them off to, and what is the objective of the advert that you're running. Okay, and then obviously you'll need your creative at this stage. Okay, so generally we use the same creative, and it will generally display it across a few different variants for us, or as I said, you can go and input different creative as well. And you can choose if you want to have a video or a carousel or just a static graphic. Okay, so that's really our creative and then our content. So this is what you will be looking at. So it will tell us our primary text. Then we know it's this text here in the top of the ad. Then this one is your media. So that's basically your creative. And then there's called the display URL. That's probably going to be your web address, or if you've got a landing page, wherever something specific. Then that's your headline, where you want to be a little bit more punchy. And then this is optional. This is a Facebook feed description. So that's something that you can also use if you want to. So you may be quite familiar now looking at this saying, oh, I've seen a lot of those. Why? Because you would have seen the word sponsored. Okay, then you know that that's an advert. So now this will kind of maybe feel a bit familiar to you. Okay, graphic, yes, headline, and a call to action button. Okay, so this is all optional and created in that step 3, as I've just mentioned in the creative ad area. Okay, so those are the key areas that we're going to look at. And as I said, I'm going to try and be as basic as possible. Well, I'm just going to follow the steps. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, so remember, give your ad enough time. Just a few things to remember, because as I said earlier, you're going to maybe pause your ad because after 3 days you've had no replies. Okay, that's not giving it really a fair chance. So give your ad enough time. How long is enough time? Nobody knows. I just always say the longer the better. So nothing less than 2 weeks. Anything longer than 2 weeks is better. Okay, spend enough money. Okay, we've just given the 20 Rand rule a day. Don't spend 20 Rand over 7 days. Okay, just spend enough money and choose the right objective for what it is you really, really want to do, because you are going to be presented with quite a few objectives. But again, we can go back and change our ad campaign. If we pause, we can create a new one. So it's also not to say, shucks, well, what if I want to try both? Or you can run 2 concurrently and see which one still gets the better results, okay? Because you can have multiple campaigns running at the same time. And then, of course, once you've run your ad, read your data once the campaign is complete and learn from it and just see, like, how many impressions did you get? How many clicks did you get? And based on the Excel document that you will receive, because that will basically, if you've done a lead campaign, it will show you, obviously give you the details of the people. And you can either connect with them, obviously through Poppy, you've got to just be a bit careful. But obviously, depending on your ad, if they did select that they want you to contact them, and you feel that out of the 10 leads, one was really good, that's not bad going, okay? Obviously, if it's 1 out of 100, maybe your targeting wasn't quite specific. But just remember to just look at your data, okay? Because often we can get hundreds of impressions, so people that saw the ad, which is pretty normal, but then that means people skip past it. We want to look at kind of who clicked on it, and then obviously the leads specifically that came through from our campaign and what type of quality leads those were. Okay, because quite often I've also run campaigns and I've just not got the right leads. So then it's definitely something in our targeting that we need to readjust. And that can also be a process, okay? So that's why I say when you do, I don't do a lot of Facebook ads for my business, but when you do find an audience that just gives you the right leads, save that audience, because you'll see you'll be able to save an or use a saved audience or save an audience, and then you can just reuse that audience. So depending on what part of your business you're selling, you can also have different audiences for that. Okay, so those are just some key tips to remember and to kick us off. So I'm just going to quickly now go straight into my Ads Manager account. So we can start putting ad together. Okay, so once you've logged into your Meter, Facebook, whatever it is, Ads Manager account, you'll still see the URL actually does say business.facebook.com, but yeah, basically it will have a Meter logo at the top. You're going to go straight into Ads Manager. Okay, we're going to start in our Ads Manager. Okay, so obviously I've run campaigns before. So if you've never run a campaign before, this will basically be blank. Yeah, this was also back in the day when I did quite a lot of different things, but yeah, I haven't done too many in the recent months. Okay, so essentially that's what it's going to look like, and you can already see there's the 3 steps. You're going to set up your campaign, you're going to do your budgets, your messaging, and then you're going to go into your, no, sorry, you're going to do your budgets, and then you go into your messaging. But it's going to take us there, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to go onto this green little button here, and we're going to say create. Okay, so the first thing it's going to prompt us is what is our objective, as I said, right? So it also gives you a lot of explanations, and often you can click on things to see maybe if you're not aware. So we've made an update to the main objectives to make it easier to find one that aligns with your business goals. Here's what you can expect. Okay, but here's the list, right? So is it awareness? Is it traffic to your website? Okay, and this is the new thing that they've told us. So if you click here, awareness, it will actually indicate here. Okay, that's not going to help. But if you look at the bottom, it says good for reach, brand awareness, video views, store location awareness. Okay, so also knowing what it is that you want to achieve. Traffic. Okay, so the description is send people to a destination like your website, an app, or even a Facebook event. Good for link clicks, landing page views, Messenger, and WhatsApp and calls. Okay, engagement the same, get more messages, video views, post engagement, page likes, or event responses. Good for Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp, video views, post engagement, conversions. Okay, leads, collect leads for your business, brand, instant forms, Messenger, conversions, calls. Okay, app promotion, find new people to install your app and continue using it. Obviously, app installations, app events. And then lastly, sales, find people likely to purchase your product or service. And it's good for conversions, catalog, Messenger, Instagram, and calls. Okay, so the key ones that I've ever used is basically awareness, engagement, and leads. Okay, in most cases, I do lead campaigns. If I do Facebook ads, because I'm trying to drive people onto my masterclass, or I'm trying to drive people to download my 12 steps to success, etc. So that's been my main focus with ads campaigns. In some cases, it might just be engagement. You want people to look at something that you've liked, get more page likes, perhaps it's an event, and or just general awareness. Okay, so people get to know who you are. So it's not a bad thing, maybe just starting up at doing an awareness campaign. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, and you'll see it's very step by step, so it isn't too complicated. The only thing you've just got to be aware of is you've got to kind of click onto the next step. So once you've completed and you've shown more options, so we make sure we've run through everything, you physically have to just go and add the next, click the next steps, okay? It doesn't automatically, well then, sorry, next it does. Well, I just always click it at the top. Okay, or you can click it down here. And at any stage, you can go between the few. It's not like you have to go, once you've completed, yeah, you can't go back. You can always go back, okay? So you can just click through, or as it says next. Okay, so let's quickly look at this one. Okay, so we're going to call this test marketing Lifeline, because obviously I'm not going to make this one live. Okay, so this one is your special ads categories. Declare if your ad is related to credit, employment, housing, social issues, if yours is anything of the like, and we're not going to declare any categories because it's not relevant and probably not relevant to any of yours. Okay, so we're going to go straight down, and here's where the A/B test is. As I said, I'm going to click it just for the purpose of you to see. Okay, this campaign will be version A in your A/B test. After you publish this campaign, you will be prompted to edit a duplicate version to test it against. Okay, so just keep it in mind, if you do want to try this, this one will be your first one. Then know with your second one if you're going to just change the content. Normally it says like change the headline or change the graphic, just to do a nice A/B test. Okay, but we're not going to do that for the time being. We're just going to go straight in. Okay, so we're going to go straight into, okay, sorry, Advantage campaign budget. I think that we say we should switch that off if I'm not mistaken. Advantage campaign budget, distribute your budget cost set to get more results depending on your delivery. Okay, but now why is it not? Okay, I thought that was the one we should switch off. Maybe I'm not there yet. Okay, so let's keep it on because otherwise we don't have our daily budget, and I'm a daily budget person. You can obviously choose a lifetime budget. So if you want to say, I'm going to spend 100 Rand over the lifetime, which you can put an end date to it, then it will break it up for you. But I'm just maybe a bit more specific. I like to say a daily budget. Okay. So this one is set at 50 Rand a day. So let's leave it at that for the sake of this demo. Okay. So we're going to leave that on. We're going to go into daily budget. Again, your choice. If you want to rather say, no, I just want to spend X amount. And then we're going to go down and we're going to say, but no, we're going to leave that highest volume and add scheduling, run ads all the time. Okay, let's quickly have a look here. I think I can only set that up on the next stage. Okay. So bid strategy, you can also update that and you can call it bid cap. Set the highest you want to bid in any auction or get the most results from your budget at highest volume, or you could close that as well. Okay. So I think that's also basically all we've done here is set our campaign name and basically set our day budget. We're going to go into the different time now. Okay, so we're going to go to our next step, all right? So we're going to just go next. Shaksha, sorry, I also haven't done this for a good while, but you'll see the nice thing is it's step by step, okay? And it will prompt you to tell you what it needs to do. Okay, so already it's telling me your audience selection is fairly broad. That's fine. We haven't really discussed that yet. Okay, so we're not going to create a template. Obviously, I've got multiple pages on my Facebook Ads Manager. You'll most likely only have then your business. So just make sure you're working off the right page. If you do have multiple business pages under your then just make sure you select the right one. Okay, so here's the budget. So we want to start the date. Well, we've entered the amount. So the start date is, and as I said, it does go under review, but it's not always under review for long. But let's typically say we're only going to start the campaign tomorrow, and we are going to set an end date, because otherwise it will spend that 50 Rand indefinitely. Okay, so it's always safer to just have a complete date, and we're going to run it for, let's say, the next 2 weeks. Okay, so we're going to then put the end date to it. You can obviously adjust your time. So, I mean, tomorrow, let's start it at 10 a.m. Okay, and then we're going to run it until 12 p.m. on the 28th. Okay, so you can already work out your budget, right? So we're going to run it for 2 weeks. So let's say 14 days at 50 Rand. We know we're going to spend 700, right? So it's not too difficult. That's why I like to choose a daily spend and have a set time, because in the event someone doesn't set a specific day spend or budget, and they just have an open-ended, that's when they start billing on their credit cards. At this stage, it can only spend what you ask it to. You can obviously adjust your daily rate, and or you can adjust the extension of the campaign. So I'm doing 2 weeks because that's what I set minimum, right? Okay, so we've selected the date, the time, that's fine. I always click show more options because there's always some dodgy things hanging. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now we're going to go into the audience, which is obviously, if you've never created an audience before, you can't use saved audiences. So in the event that, because we've created quite a few campaigns, we've had specific, you can see each one's different. We've obviously run campaigns before and set up audiences before. So we have, and that's why in some cases we called it nice, but some cases we just had a digit. So let's call it the free assessment TMR. Okay. So in that case, we ran an ad for the free assessment, and we kind of gathered the audience together and we really liked it. So we saved it under that name. So as I say, if you're specifically running a campaign now for, I'm thinking about you, Miles, for voice over IP, you might have a very specific audience for voice over IP. Then you can save your audience as VOP audience. Okay. Which is nice, because then you don't have to do this every time, because creating an audience is difficult and it takes time, because we obviously have to keep an eye on this. So as it says, your audience selection is fairly broad, okay, because we can see its estimated audience size is 21 million, right? Estimates may vary significantly based on your targeting sections. Estimated daily results aren't available for this campaign. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so let's quickly have a look here. Okay, we're going to start. So let's create a new audience. So this is test marketing. Oh, and that's the other option, is you can create new, or you can do a lookalike audience, but that's something for another day. And those are really, really good, because those are basically either a customer list that you have that have already bought from you, then you can use that for your ads. So it basically will find people just like your customers, and or from your website, people that have visited your website, it will go and find more people like that. So lookalike audiences are really nice, but you need to have your pixel loaded so that you can pull that data to upload it onto your page. Okay, so let's quickly go into creating a new audience. Okay, no, sorry, I'm searching here, my mistake. I want to create a new custom audience. And we're obviously going to do, we don't have a customer list. So this is it. So choose a custom audience source, connect with people who have already shown an interest in your business or product. So you can click on your website, but perhaps your pixel would have to be loaded. If you've got an app, catalog, customer list, offline activity, and then obviously even your meta sources. So you could select something where you have like your Facebook page, people that like your Facebook page. Okay, okay, I don't know if I really want to create it this way, because now I'm hoping that I could create a new audience from scratch. So this is another way you could do it if you feel that your audience is the right audience, is you could just everyone who's engaged with your page. Okay, so that could also be an option. So there are different ways. You can include more people, you can exclude more people, and then you can also name it. But I'm trying to just want to create a new audience from scratch. Okay, so there's your option to save this audience. So let's create our audience. Okay, so location. All right, for this specific campaign, I'm going to just choose, I don't want to choose Durban, but I'm just going to go with a specific region just for the purpose of this campaign. I think I'm going to go Durban just because I'm living here now, I suppose. Let's just, and you can also exclude locations. Okay, so let's quickly go in and focus on one area. Okay, and that's 10 miles. So let's make it 5 miles. Okay. Okay, so it's not very big at all, but I'm just kind of getting to the point, right? So just by changing your region, because generally people do want to go for South Africa, because if your services are online, you can really service anybody. But again, just keeping in mind what it is your objective is and who you are targeting. If South Africa is relevant, that's fine. You can then just define it in other areas. So maybe it's specifically age, it's females, it's with children under the age of 10. So that all those things start reducing the size of your audience. Okay, but if you want to, you can be region specific. So let's start with Durban. And as you'll see, it does give you the option to obviously change the miles. So that's kind of the radius to Durban Central, or where you pinned it. And that's going to be 5 miles. Okay, so as you see, look at there, 230 to 270,000 people. If we make it 10 miles, it will obviously broaden it up to 1 million. Okay, and then you can also move your pin. I want to drop my pin again. Let's just do, probably a bad idea to do Durban. So just going to delete that one. I'm just going to take my mouse back to 5. Okay, so I'm just playing a little bit here as well. As I said, it's been a while since I've also set up a campaign, but you'll see as you go along, you can figure it out. So my audience is back down, but that's because now I'm in Durban. Check at that, still 1 million. Okay, but anyway, let's leave it at that for now. So we're going to start with our region. Okay, then it's going to tell you age. So obviously this is like everything. So we're going to just quickly click on age. And my age is, for my specific campaign, is going to be 40 to 55. Okay. Okay, so look at that. It quickly jumps down. So just also be very specific, knowing who your audience is. Okay, for mine, strangely enough, please don't, sorry for all the men out there. But I'm just going to focus on women. Okay, so again, it drops down to 82. Facebook is still telling me your audience selection is very broad. That's fine. We're going to obviously detail it now. Okay, so just out of interest, I've taken Durban as my main area. I've honed into 5 miles radius. I've been very specific on age and very specific on gender. Okay, I could have selected all, and then my results would obviously go up to 161. Okay, so I've said women. Now, this is your detailed targeting where it gets more complicated. Okay, so that's all the demographics and interests and stuff. Okay, so let's have a look at the demos. So, demographics, for my specific campaign that I'm creating, I want people to come onto this as a freebie exercise. So through my personas, I know that my specific audience is an entrepreneur. Typically, I know that they've been in business for more than a year or two, but I also know that I have between the age of 40 and 55 that they've got children, okay? Yes, I had my kids a bit older, but you've got to like guess around, okay, so the kids must be anything from the age of 10, right? So we can kind of start bedding down into a few things like that. Okay, or it could be a very specific interest. So we're going to just look here. I mean, it's mind-blowing how many you can get. I mean, there's friends of men with a birthday, new parents, birthday in September, household incomes. You can choose anything, okay? Small business to business enterprise employees. So I'm going to select that one because typically that would be, although it's 10, it's fine. I'm going to also select more now. So we're just going to continue down the list. And we're going to just see what options we have for demos. Okay, then we can look at suggestions. Okay, so medium to large is not my area. Large business to business is not my area. Decision makers, I could select that, but I'm worried that that's gonna take it up. But let's just select it. Let's just select it. Then it's going to give me more suggestions. Okay, so there we go. Oh, let's see, just want to change my view here. Suggestions, and that's just how Facebook is. So as soon as you hover away or move something, you have to go back into it. Okay, so let's just select owner, manager, CEO. It could even be co-founder, CEO, could be director, could be MD. Like everyone actually changes their title personally, okay? But let's just quickly go and have a look. So I think that's fine, owner and founder. Okay, those are like relevant to my audience that I'm thinking about. Okay, so you can again go and justify a whole lot of those. Okay, so let's quickly have a look here what we've got. So for demographics, we've got managing director, owner, manager, CEO. We've got business decision maker and small media business. Okay, and then we can also let's browse interests. Okay. You see what I mean as soon as you go away. Interests. Okay. Oh no, where did it go now? It's my interests. Okay, well, let's click you. Let's see what you've got. Suggestions. Okay, I think I've got enough titles. Small business. Still entrepreneurship there. Small business owners. Own business. Own business. So there's loads, like there's so many, there's always so many to choose from. Entrepreneurship. Okay. Then I'm just going to go look for suggestions. No, yeah, so just keep throwing you suggestions once you've clicked on certain things. I think I've got enough of that. So I'm just trying to now look for some interests. Small business. Okay, interests. So obviously business and industry we've already looked at. Okay, so that was the first kind of one. Banking. So I'm just trying to picture this woman. She's definitely into family, but she's also into fitness. Okay, so those are just kind of become interests. And then you've got behaviors as well. So let's quickly look at, so demographics, I think we've found. Interests. I'm going to go with family, just for this purpose of this. I'm going to go with motherhood. And then it's going to give me suggestions. Okay, where are my suggestions with my children age? Okay, I'm not going to choose fitness and wellness. I'm not going to worry about food and drink, hobbies, shopping. I mean, you can be so specific depending on your technology, wherever you are. That can all impact your selection. Okay, we definitely don't want to choose fatherhood. So we've chosen that one. We're still up to 51,000. I just want to quickly look at behaviors. Okay, so even anniversary can become an anniversary if the anniversary is in a specific time. Mobile, more categories, travel, interest in upcoming events. Okay, I suppose that's if you're promoting an event. I'm not doing that. Okay, so let's just have a quick look here. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one. Okay, parents with early school children, 6 to 8. Sounds like I'm the ideal target market. Okay, so those are just some specifics. Let's have a look. So that should bed me down quite a lot lower than, well, probably the highest that they want. But there's one step further. So once you've gone through that, and this is a bit tricky. That's why what I like to do is once you've gone there, you're going to save your audience and you're going to name it, because it's going to allow you to then just next time you run a campaign, you can just select that audience and having to create an audience. Okay, because it can be a little bit cumbersome. I hate the way that this whole table works. And as I said, if you click out of it or move out of it, it drops and it removes. But the worst case, you can always search if you know your interest is ice cream. You could search something specific that you're looking for. Okay, so just make it easier for you. Okay, languages is another thing that you can edit just to reduce your languages. And you might just want to be English, all right? And then you can also I want to just quickly show you this exclude. So just let's quickly go narrow audience. You can then obviously go and search more, but the exclude one was something like you could exclude people that don't have free Wi-Fi or don't have Wi-Fi or something. So it kind of just shows you a bit of a demographic. So you can exclude people to help refine your audience. When you choose to make exclusions, keep in mind that our advertising policies prohibit wrongful discrimination. Okay, so you can't go and say, race and stuff. Don't be like that. But you definitely can say remove. I know we always used to say remove free Wi-Fi. Was an example. So I'm just going to quickly search it. Okay, so that was a free Wi-Fi. Okay, so that was just a thing, but we could go and also exclude business, children, exclude, trying to think something about Oh, somebody's got a bit of a social opinion. Let's just say something about social politics. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, let's just leave it at that. You don't have to put exclusions in, but if your audience is quite broad, then you can start dumbing it down into regions. So if you wanted to, you could always maybe start at your behavior, demographics, interests, and then go to your specific area. And then if you still need to break it down. But I'm going to go with this just because we've got it. We're running out of time. And we've got 42,000 in our field. And Facebook likes to think that 50 is good. And as you can see, it's still telling me it's too broad, right? So typically we need to go in and actually and review it. Okay, but that's totally up to you. So we're going to just call this test marketing lifeline. Okay, so we know we're setting up the test marketing lifeline campaign. Please, then when creating your audience, you set up the test audience, same name, right? Whatever your campaign name is, just so you know if this audience really worked well for you, you can reuse it going forward. Okay. Cool. So optimization and delivery, you can look at this. Obviously, most of us look at reach, but the other options are impressions, which is we'll deliver your ad to people as many times as possible. Ad recall will serve your ads to maximize the total number of people, and through play will deliver your ads to help you get the most completed video plays, if that's what you're running. But we're just going to give you reach for now, or impressions, whichever one you want to select, right? So we're just going to go with reach for now. Okay, clicking the show more options, always as a nice thing just to remind us that we don't have to do anything else. Okay, so this one takes us a bit longer. Why? It's because we need to really bed down that freaking audience. As you saw now, it's nitty gritty, right? And that's why when people just don't do an audience, their ads get seen by nobody and somebody, and you spend a lot of money. So you need to bed down that age, that gender, language if you want, have some exclusions. Definitely go and look at very specific industries if you know what their job titles are, you know what size business they are, if you know the industry you want to focus on, if you know what the exact interests are they moms with kids, what it is, then those are the places where you can. There's loads of interests, as I said, just go and search it because it is a bit cumbersome, that selection bar. But once you've got your audience, save it. You can always go back next time and tweak it. Okay. So now we're going to move along to the next step, which is your third and final step, which is your creative and your content. So this one should be a little bit easier because by now you know what you want to say. So you just want to go straight in and do it. Okay, so obviously it's got preview up already because I've already created ads. So we're just checking that it's the right page. Again, I don't have an Instagram account, so that's not going to work. And yeah, so we're going to go straight into our setup. So this is what I talk about your creative. So you can either just do a single image or video. You can do a carousel, but then you need 2 or more scrollable images or videos. Those you'll be familiar with if you see them kind of rotating. And then or just a collection, a group of items that opens in a full screen. Okay, so we're just going to go for the purpose of this one, just to keep it simple, a single image or a video. Okay, so that's all you do. Then you carry on. And now you need to update your different formats. Okay, so just to select the media, text, and destination for your ad, you can also customize your media and text for each placement. Okay, so then you're going to go up and you're going to edit and you're going to, you're going to upload your media. Okay, I've obviously got media here. You're going to have the option to upload your media. And you're going to go and, well, I'm going to edit. You can then go and fetch more media. But for the sake of this, I've just already got some artwork in there. So we're just going to keep it as that for now. Okay, so you're going to obviously upload your media here. And then, as you can see, I've got different sizes. So that one, for example, is slightly broader. It's in-stream ads for video reels. Then you've got your stories. And, well, that's actually not a right story one. It's just planted in there. And then this is another placement. So you can see they're all different sizes. So just have a few of those available before placing your ads. If you don't, just use the one. And it will ask you to just place them in different places. Okay, so add music. I'm going to just unclick that because we're not going to have any music. In the event you want music, that's fine. Just remember, on supported placements, we'll sync your ad with music at no cost to you. For all placements, no music will be added. Okay, so depending on where you want to place it. So this is already preloaded text. And again, your primary text, as we mentioned, is this text that you see in the top part of your post, where there's always a see more. So as they say, try and impress them in those first 3 lines. We could have possibly had a bit of a space here, just to create less text so that people know what is it all about and to get the kind of click. So whether it's a question, whether it's a statement, addressing a pain point, etc. Okay, so that's just an example. This text can be as long as you want. It can be a long post. I'm sure you've seen sponsored posts where you've had the option to see more, and you push the see more, and all of a sudden there's a long post, long form post. That's what they do because now they've paid for it. So now they want to kind of give you as much as they can, using some nice little emojis to break it up and really just giving valuable driven content. Okay, so you're not just going to put salesy pitch words in there. Obviously, you're going to explain to them what it is that you do and how you can help them. Okay, so that's kind of, I think, I'm trying to see what the max word count is here, but I honestly don't think there is one. So just, you'll obviously know what you can do, and then you've got the options to insert emojis as well. Okay, so if you want to use emojis, as I said, maybe just for bullets and stuff, you can also do that. Okay, then you want to go and add a destination. So if you add a destination, you can send people immediately after they tap or click your ad to a website or a full screen experience. If you don't, they'll be sent to your Facebook page or Instagram account, okay, which is also fine. So depending on what you're wanting, are you wanting them to like your page, or you wanting them to go to a landing page or website? Okay, so the ad headline, which is this one here. Oh, shucks, it's not showing us this one now. But anyway, the headline was the text below, if you remember that on the graphic. So maybe it will change it now. Okay, so you can't see it. Anyway, it's okay, it's there. All right, so it will basically be updating your headline. So that's your little text at the bottom. Description, as we said, would be optional. It's not a must, but why not have it? Marketing for startups. Okay, and then you can obviously add descriptions. And then your call to action is that button, which we also can't see now. So that's a whole lot of different options. So just be careful with your button. Again, it must talk to your text and what it is that you want people to do. Do you want them to apply? Definitely not call. Contact, learn more is always a safer option, because then you can push them onto a landing page. Yeah. Okay, so my option is learn more, and then that is pretty much your website URL. Okay, well, hopefully you've got a landing page. Okay. And then your display link is also optional. So yeah, I think that's pretty much, I'm sorry we can't see this part now. But yeah, we will preview the ad in a bit. Okay, so languages all fine. Tracking, this is your pixel that then you can put onto your website. If you are driving traffic to your website, you can give this to your web guy, and he will be able to then put it onto your website so that you can track then how much traffic you receive from your ad. Okay, so I think that's about it. Everything is done. We've got our URL. Unfortunately, if you don't have a landing page or wherever it is that you want to direct them to, your call to action, your little descriptor, your headline, just obviously please check for spelling. So not a bad idea to take that, just copy it, put it into a Word document, because if you are typing it into Facebook, you could maybe do a bit of a oops and then not pick it up. So just copy it into Grammarly or your Word and just double check the spelling is correct. You obviously can use hashtags in here as well, but it's not so much the call to action, because that's going to be what this is at the bottom, because you're running an ad. But you definitely can include a call to action. And as I said, don't be shy to put as much content as needed. And obviously your graphic supporting what it is that you are advertising. So those are specific. And as I said, not too much text. Mine in this case was a lot of text because it was just the artwork I had. But it's preferably that you use, actually the rule is 20%, but I would say anything up to 30% text, the rest would be space and graphics. Okay, so now we just want to quickly review our ad, just to make sure that everything looks all right. So we would typically now see, so yes, that's the marketing lifeline. Obviously it will say sponsored. We know that's our headline. Maybe we can bold it. Remember, we can use our Facebook fonts to make it a bit more standout. We've got our graphic, which is sized right, looks right. We've got our URL. We've got our headline, and we've got our little descriptor, and we've got our call to action. Okay, then this is basically how it will review in the other formats if you've supplied the right amount of formats. If you haven't, then it won't use them. So typically that's how it would look in an Instagram story. You can just click on it to have a look at it, and so forth. Okay. And then you can obviously go back here or back there, whichever one you want to do. If you want to maybe change something because you don't like the way it looks, that's fine. Yeah, and then that's it, I think. If you obviously do have an Instagram account, please do select it. Otherwise, you won't be able to post across Instagram. Okay, and then essentially, this is the time when you would click publish, which I'm obviously not going to do for the purpose of this demo. You're going to select publish, and then you'll see in your ads manager, I obviously haven't set it for review. So for me, it still says in draft, which is another thing you can do, is you don't have to finish it in the moment, because it can be quite overwhelming, specifically doing your first one. As I said, pinning down that audience and sifting through all the content. Like I say, rather go prepared, knowing exactly who it is you want to target, so you can just search those out and define it as quickly as possible to get that broad audiences down as much as possible. Then you can come back and forth, and you'll see, as I said, it will say in draft. Okay. It will only, then obviously it will, once you've set it to go and you've published it, it's always a bit nerve-wracking. Don't worry, just as long as you set your budget for a specific time. It will say in review. It will basically go through the Facebook people, and they will just check that everything's in order and you're not doing anything politically incorrect. And then it will say running. I think I can't even remember now. It will then tell you when it's running, and then it will actually start showing you the results. Let me show you some results here. So it will start showing you obviously how much you've spent and your results. Okay, it doesn't give you the numbers now, but obviously you'll see once you start going through. And then another last point before we close is you can also, if you look at that, you can, if you just click on that, hover that, you can then go and create your duplicate if you want to do the A/B test. As we said, if we did select it, it would automate you to do that. Or at any time, you can go and edit it, even if it's running. Just know if it is running, it will pause. You'll go in, you'll change the headline if you want to. You'll have to resave it, and then it will just automatically run. Okay, so just a heads up on that. You can go in and tweak something if you want. If you do see a spelling mistake by accident, go in, edit it, update it, reschedule it, republish it, and it will it will go back into review for a little bit, and then it will go live. It will start running. And then you can just come and look at your results here, but you can also see your results, your results on your actual Facebook business page on your left menu. Okay, so you can come in here and do what you want, and then, as I say, it will start showing you all the results, the reach, the impressions, the cost per result, okay, all those things, and it will also tell you when it ends. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. As I said, I went through it quite briefly due to time constraints. Obviously, I know we only have an hour, and I only scheduled an hour for us for this session. I think the hardest part, as you saw even from me, is doing that audience. I think the easy part is setting up the business page, setting up your ads manager, which I'll send you ways how to do that. Once you've got that, then you can go into your creating an ad. As we said, you click here and you start those 3 key steps. Number 1, what is the objective, the biggest point that you need to go through? Number 2, you need to know exactly who it is you want to talk to. The more specific you can be, the better. And just keep an eye on the broad audience side and listen and see what it says. Mine was still broad, even though it was below 50,000, the recommended. Go in and tweak it, even if you get to 1,000. Okay, even if you get to 1,000, especially if your budget is smaller. Okay, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it. Don't have that FOMO. Rather be very specific. And then on the step 3, be very specific with your message and your graphics as well. Okay, as we said, we can A/B test, so see which one does better. Or we can do multiple ads for multiple purposes. Okay, so you might want to do a different ad campaign for a different offering, because maybe the different offering has a different audience. Okay, and then as I said, once you've published it, it will be here in review. It will go live. It will run. If you want to update it at any time, you just pop in here. You can view charts if you wish to, or edit it and do what you like and keep an eye on it. And then, as we said at the end, just test and measure. So that's all I have for you today. I hope that was somewhat beneficial. As I said, I had to refresh myself there too. It's been a while since I set up an audience, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to knowing who you need to talk to. And keeping it small is by far greater, especially if your budgets are small too. But here it is. Go and give it a go, and I'm sure you will be absolutely fine. Okay, that's me. Take care. Ciao.